Welcome back to Sonic 3 and Knuckles and the beginning of the Sonic and Knuckles portion of Sonic 3. Didn't I just get thrown off a tower and drowned? And possibly burnt to death? Well, Knuckles, you have many lives. Well, you get a free secret ring with a transition from the Chaos Emeralds into the Super Emeralds. Whenever you lock on Sonic Knuckles with Sonic 3, you can now choose whatever Chaos Emeralds, Super Emeralds you want to go for. My suggestion is the hardest special stages seem to be in the middle for some reason. So go from right to left or from left to right. The Chaos Emerald stages are still blue spheres, so don't worry, there's no change up except for difficulty. And I will say the difficulty on some of these special stages are almost on the insane side. The reason why I'm making this look easy is because, well, I've been playing this game since, 2005, 2006? Maybe even before that, so I know this game through and through. So you're not gonna see any screw-ups from me. I don't go for perfects though, the only way you get a perfect in the special stages is if you collect all the rings, but I don't waste time doing that. Cause you gotta be exact, yeah, I'm just not built for that shit, you know? The last 3 spheres are going to be off in a corner somewhere. You just want to jump over these spheres, or the red sphere, and then just turn right at the right time. I will say that these blue sphere stages does test your dexterity, so you got to be on point with these. Anyway, that's the blue Chaos Emerald. Or is it cyan? Actually, it looked like it was more blue, so we're going to say blue. And just to let you all know that I will be going for all of the Chaos Emeralds in this video alone, because, well, I know where all the secret rings are in Flying Battery as well as Mushroom Hill, so why not? And also just to make sure that this game flows by at a relatively smooth pace, because Sonic & Knuckles, believe it or not, is actually not as long as Sonic 3. Despite it having more stages technically, those 2 stages are more like transitional acts like you would see in Sonic 2. So yeah, you got like Hidden Palace and Sky Sanctuary, but those are only 1 act. And then you got Lava Reef Zone, which that is actually a beefer of a level. I'm surprised nobody complains about that one compared to Sandopolis. I don't get why people complain about Sandopolis, to be honest. I mean, sure, it's long, but it's also just kind of there. It's just vibing. Also like how the pyramids in the background look. Oh, okay, leave my desert zone alone, guys. The Mushroom Hill Zone is kind of like a harder Angel Island. You got all these different pulleys and seesaws and these things that you just swing on. And it's okay as a first stage, technically first stage. What I do like about Mushroom Hill is the gimmick where the seasons change. You'll be seeing that in a couple minutes. And all it really does is it just changes the leaves in the background and stuff. There's no real gameplay mechanic difference, but I like that attention to detail. It's more so Sonic Team trying to give this game more silent storytelling. And while we're on the subject, the plot and story of Sonic 3 is among one of the better stories in the series, even though there is no real dialogue. And that's how I prefer Sonic games to be, or at least classic Sonic in this case. Minimal story, but with a lot of expression. And don't get me wrong, I do like some of the modern Sonic stuff like Frontiers and Unleashed and the adventure games, but that's about it. Those are kind of the exception to the rule when it comes to modern Sonic stories. Anyway, here's the second Super Emerald. Pretty easy so far. All you have to do is follow the pathway, but there's going to be a cluster in the middle of this giant gaggle of red spheres. So what you're going to have to do here to get over to that group of blue spheres is to jump over some red spheres. If I could find a pathway to it. There we go. You have to time your jump well. Hit the button too early or too late and you'll hit the red sphere. Nice, we got the purple Super Emerald. The great favorite one. That's 2 out of the 7 Chaos Emeralds, we got 5 more to go. Let's clear the air about this Mushroom Hill fiasco right now. No, it's not a reference to Mario. But Mushroom Hill, also known as Mushroom Valley or Mushroom Forest depending on who you ask, was a recycled asset from Sonic 2. Or at least recycled assets from prototypes of Sonic 2 that were never used in-game. The mushrooms though, those are just new additions, nobody knows where they came from. Anyway, here's the mini-boss of Mushroom Hill Zone, or Mushroom Valley depending on who you ask. It is the Axeman! That's not his name, but I like to call him the Axeman. Look, he's even got the golden axe! Oh man, so many Sega crossovers with this one. But this guy is pretty easy, he just chops wood straight ahead, like he doesn't even throw it at an arc or anything. I got fucked over by Tails there, thanks you dick! But if you're playing as Knuckles, that's when the Axeman starts to throw the logs at an arc, so you have to avoid those more carefully. Knuckles is a lever, you should just be able to pull it once and the thing will activate. Anyway, here's the fall gimmick for Mushroom Hill. Or it's not really a gimmick, it's just more like scenery change. But a welcome scenery change because I love me some fall time. Wait a minute, how did I get hit by the mushroom? I'm supposed to be invincible. Nice! Special Stage 3, here we come. Let's finish off the right side. And if I'm remembering correctly, oh yeah, this special stage. Not a big fan of this one because it's more maze-like. And also you have to do some more risky jumps if you want to get these squared off and collect rings. And so what you want to do here is stay on one side of the planet, or whatever this place is supposed to be. And once you're finished with that side of the arena, just go to the right side. And presto. Got another Super Emerald, and we're taking care of these super fast. And while we're on the subject of blue spheres, let me actually talk about the Sonic & Knuckles cartridge itself, which is a unique look for a Sega Genesis cartridge, but that's besides the point. You lock Sonic 3 to Sonic & Knuckles, you get the full game. You lock Sonic 2 with Sonic & Knuckles, then you get Knuckles and Sonic 2, which is, well, you play as Knuckles in Sonic the Hedgehog 2, so that's another treat for you. But if you put in an incompatible game, say like Sonic the Hedgehog 1, or shit, it could even be Thunder Force 4, or Shining in the Darkness, or Streets of Rage, it will still work. It will put on the Blue Spheres minigame. The title screen, or lack thereof, is really just Sonic and the gang hanging out, and there's a whole bunch of no ways plastered on the screen. You press the start button, and you enter the Blue Spheres minigame. And the special stages are procedurally generated too. You have what is essentially over 1 million special stages to play from, and they're all random. Now, I may have underestimated the special stage number. It's not just 1 million, it's 100 million. Shit! The only catalyst to connecting Sonic and Knuckles to other cartridges is the other cartridge in question cannot be over 2 megabytes, so say like Phantasy Star 4 or Street Fighter 2, those will not work. Games with battery backups you might want to be careful with because it might corrupt the save file of that particular game. Sonic 3 notwithstanding because, you know, it's still Sonic. This emerald hunting stage is easy. In fact, I think it's one of the first, if not the first Chaos Emerald you get in Sonic & Knuckles standalone. So yeah, you just follow the cluster of blue spheres. I may have gotten lost here, but it's really not that bad. And the orange spheres, you use those to jump around. Where you at? Oh my god, did I really get lost here? Maybe not. We got the green Chaos Emerald 4th. There's that damn 4th Chaos Emerald, and it's usually the first Chaos Emerald we get. But then again, Sonic games tend to break their own rules. And looking at you, 8-bit games. And Sonic Spinball. How's there like 16 emeralds in Sonic Spinball and they're all blue? That makes no sense. What is going on with that game? In fact, what even is Sonic Spinball? That game just completely blows my mind. Anyway, here's the winter section of Mushroom Hill. I actually like this aesthetic the most. Well, actually, no, I like the fall better, but this one looks good too. And we spend the least amount of time in this area because when you know it, Eggman is right around the corner, and he's doing some nasty crap to the environment again. From what I've gathered, he is messing with the weather by transmitting some sort of electricity or something into the atmosphere via a satellite dish. They don't explain it. I'm trying to right here. Look, not every Sonic game needs to have a thesis statement as to why Eggman is the way he is. I just love to do bad shit, Sonic. Anyway, special stage. This is, I think, the second special stage if you're playing Sonic and Knuckles alone. So it's kind of another gimme, you just follow the pathway. It's more linear than it is maze-like. And just like that, I just completed 5 of the 7 special stages. 2 more Super Emeralds to go and I'll become a seizure-tastic hedgehog of death and destruction. Back to Mushroom Hill Zone. Taking them shrooms. Now there's a bit of a secret here. If you land on the left side of this pulley, you want to pull all the way up. Once you get to the very top of this device, you want to hit that spring. You'll go through the ceiling and you'll get a choice between either a thunder shield or a fire shield. I go for the fire shield because of the dash. Now, Eggman, what is he doing? What was that? Was he trying to cause an apocalypse? Well, short answer, yes, but that's besides the point. Now, this boss is... I want to call it the precursor to Sonic Advance 2, but there's more to it than that. You got these spike balls that will act as fences that you want to jump over or roll under. And if you don't have the fire shield, you want to be careful of Eggman's jet engines, as he'll turn those on and off at certain points of the boss fight. But yeah, Mushroom Hill, or Mushroom Valley depending on who you ask, out of the way. Now we just gotta take care of this airborne Duracell. I've always hated that alarm sound. I do love this soundtrack though, it's very kick-ass and spy-like. Ah, damn it, invincibility. Oh well. A lot of the same composers from Sonic 3 make their return in Sonic & Knuckles. Obviously. But no Michael Jackson this time around. However, his music director, Brad Buxer, is credited in both games. Now, the reason why Michael Jackson did not have his name credited in Sonic 3 is unclear, but it is on record that Michael Jackson was unsatisfied with the Sega Genesis instrumentation, so that might have something to do with that. There was also the abuse allegations at the time, which actually may have had more to do with that than the actual displeasure with the soundtrack. But even with all that said, MJ would collaborate with Sega again in the video game Space Channel 5, which came out in 1999. A game I've never played, but I've heard so much about. I guess it's supposed to be like Dance Dance Revolution? Or Parappa the Rapper? I don't know. Honestly, I don't even have interest in Space Channel 5. I just heard about the game. But yeah, that's pretty much the whole story about Michael Jackson's involvement with Sonic 3. He was a big Sega fan, and it seems like Sega were big fans of MJ himself too, so the feeling's mutual. Flying Battery Zone is kind of a cross-up between Wing Fortress and, I want to say Scrap Brain Zone, but nowhere near as dickish. You have a lot more platform-based challenges, especially on the outside of the zone. But you also have opportunities to gain speed, especially when you throw speed boosters into the mix. There are also a fair few special rings here. I don't know where all of them are, I just know where 2 are, which is good enough because I need 2 more left. The first secret ring is going to be up through here. Just jump on these platforms, and then there's going to be a bed of spikes here. You push the spikes to the left and you'll drop through the chute. Tails always gets left behind. Oh, there he is. Alright, let's do this one right here. I think this is the... Oh yeah, this one. Now, the special stage I simultaneously like and hate. It's straightforward, there's no maze-like element to this one, you just keep moving. But it's also very easy to fuck up. So, I don't really have words of advice for this one, you just keep moving forward, that's it. And time your button presses well when you jump. There we go. Simple but tense. Wait, didn't I just get the blue emerald? Why is there another one? Oh god, it's Sonic Spinball all over again. One more to go. And we'll be getting that last emerald at the end of this act. Or rather, the end of this zone, actually. I got my locations mixed up. The last emerald I'll be getting is going to be in Act 2. And the mini-boss for Flying Battery Act 1 is kind of a crazy one. It's like a trick capsule. What you want to do is get the capsule to hit itself on the head. And that was a weird psych out. The capsule is not supposed to attack twice. But what you want to do is stand on top of the button and have the boss attack itself. It will die after 5 concussions. Now after this boss, we'll have a listen to the Flying Battery Act 2 theme. It's pretty badass. Damn, I love this soundtrack. And then again, I love almost every Sonic soundtrack. Anything that's not named Sonic Chronicles gets an S tier. Alright, so these corkscrew elevator things, you don't want to get crushed up between the ceiling and the platform, you will die. Just that whole section in general is sketchy because of the way it looks. I'd rather go up this time. It's gonna be a whole mess of rings. I always love that bit. Not too many Sonic games utilize speed or momentum quite like that. It's usually almost always, oh cool, it's a loop-de-loop or I'm just going downhill. Yay! But those 3 hills as well as those 3 ball things are pretty cool. It's honestly genius. The special ring is going to come up as well as the end of the act. What you want to do here is keep going left, and once you get to a certain point, you want to hang left towards a wall. Here's the wall, and here's our 7th and final special stage. We're gonna get all the Super Emeralds. Now, this stage in particular it's alright, you gotta collect 64 blue spheres, but I think it's a little bit too big. The play area is just too wide open and I kinda get lost here, so things don't really make sense. And also, you don't want to use the orange springs too much here, you might just jump yourself into, like that, jump yourself into a red sphere and completely screw yourself. I don't even know how I managed to save myself at the last minute there. I'm a genius, I guess, I don't know. Anyway, stay on track, Sonic. You need to find the last 38 of these bastards. Finding the last 6 spheres here is always a pain in the ass. Come on! Nice. That's all of the special stages out of the way, and we just got the purple Super Emerald again, even though I thought I collected the purple Super Emerald before. Oh my god! Sonic got all Super Emeralds, yay, nice. Give me Hypersonic. Ah! Now, Hypersonic is a broken tank. He's pretty much like Supersonic, except you have this super dash that you can do in pretty much almost any direction you want. Yeah, I kind of blanked out there, but yeah, you can do the hyper dash in any direction you want. And you're immune to drowning. But you can still get crushed or fall into a bottomless pit. Those are the only ways you can die as Hypersonic. And I will say it's a fair trade-off because Hypersonic is insanely broken in this game. It's a wonder why he doesn't come back because of how broken he is. But we shall see it in the next part. Anyway, There's the laser trap Mark II, and this thing is completely useless. Oh boy, what'd they do to you? Eggman's gonna be controlling this thing from the outside. And instead of the laser tracking your location, which it kinda does, but it stops after a certain point, it shoots the laser down, and it brings those two laser gates closer together. Now it looks like those laser gates could crush you, but it doesn't. Eggman completely destroys himself here. I should have thought this through! That is not the boss, however, we still got a little bit more to go, especially this run like hell section. Oh, that was rude. Anyway, here's the boss of Flying Battery, the Egg Hanger. Eggman will spend the majority of the fight on the bottom half of the screen where he's safe, and you don't want to touch those arms. They are spiked, and they will hurt you if you're not supersonic like I am. Well, I'm sorry, hypersonic. So I'm chilling out, Tails is getting murdered, and Eggman's like, what the fuck, you cheater? But yeah, after a certain while, Eggman will swing up and down. For Sonic, he does it 4 times. For Knuckles, he does it twice. Hit him 8 times, he's dead. Anyway, that's going to do it for part 4 of Sonic 3 and Knuckles. Stay tuned for Sandopolis and Lava Reef in part 5. The 2 longest zones in the game.